Assalamu alaikum students. Once again, I welcome you all to my YouTube video class. This class is a continuation of previous session. In the previous session, we have seen what is algorithm, algorithmic problems, building blocks of algorithms, algorithm design techniques and specification. So, what is algorithm? An algorithm is a sequence of instructions to accomplish a task or to solve a problem. Then we have seen the specification format. So, to write the specification of an algorithm, we have to follow 3 steps. First step, the name of the algorithm and the inputs. We have to specify the name of the algorithm and we have to specify the input. The second step, we have to give the property of the inputs, and the third step, we have to give the property of the output, and also we have to mention the desired input-output relation. In today's session, we are going to discuss about specification example, specification as contract, and abstraction. Let us see an example. Write the specification of an algorithm for computing the square root of a number. Now, we are going to find the square root of a number. So, to write the specification to this algorithm, we have to follow 3 steps. First step, we have to give the name of the algorithm and the variables used in the algorithm. Here, the name of the algorithm is square root and the variable name is n. Here, one variable is enough to find the square root of a number. So, the name of the variable is n. In the second step, we have to give the input property. So, double dash inputs colon n is a real number. So, the variable n should be a real number. N is greater than or equal to 0. So, n may be a 0 or greater than 0. So, n should not be a negative value. So, to find square root, we need a positive value. Okay. So, the input property is n is a real number and n is greater than or equal to 0. Now, we are going to write the output property. So, double dash outputs colon y is a real number. If n is a real number, that is input is a real number, means the output is also be a real number. So, y is a real number such that y square is equal to n. Here, the input property is n is a real number and the output property is y is a real number. So, what is the relation between the input and output? For example, here I have to find the square root of the value 25. Then, what will be the output here? 5. So, the relation is 5 square is 25. So, y square is equal to n is the relation between the input and output. So, the specification of an algorithm is based on 3 steps. First step, we have to give the name of the algorithm and we have to mention the input variable. And the second step is we have to mention the property of the input, and the third step is we have to mention the property of the desired output, and also we have to specify the relation between the input and output. So, this is how we have to write the specification of an algorithm. Next one is specification as contract. Specification of an algorithm serves as a contract between the designer of the algorithm and the user of the algorithm, because it also defines the rights and responsibilities of the designer and the user. So, there should be a contract between who creates the algorithm and who uses the algorithm. So, it is binding term between the designer and the user. While writing specification of an algorithm only, we will get the input properties, output properties and desired input-output relation. Based on this, the designer to solve the solution to the problem. So, to design the solution of an algorithm, both the designer and the user involvements are required. That is, both the designer and the user rights and responsibilities are required. Ensuring that the inputs satisfy the required properties is the responsibility of the user but the right of the designer. So, the user has the responsibility to give the input properties to the designer, but the right of the designer. For example, if the user didn't give the correct input and its properties, he or she will not get the desired output. So, this is the responsibility for the user, not for the designer. But the designer has the rights to get the correct input properties from the user. For example, a girl wants to stitch a chudidar. She approaches a tailor. She has given her dress material and she has to inform that what's her expectation after stitching the cloth, how it should be, what design she needs. So, she has to inform everything priorly to the tailor. That is the responsibility of the customer. So, the user has to give the correct property to the designer. Here, the tailor has the rights to collect all the information from the customer. The next step is the tailor to stitch the cloth and she or he has to satisfy the user needs. So, the desired input-output relation is the responsibility of the designer and the right of the user. Importantly, if the user fails to satisfy the properties of the inputs, the designer is free from his obligation to satisfy the desired input-output relation. So, if the customer did not tell anything about her expectation and she simply asked the tailor to stitch the chudidar, means what the tailor will do? He simply stitch and give the chudidar as he likes. So, it may not be to the liking of the customer. So, this is not the problem of the designer, that is the problem of the user. So, giving the input property is the responsibility of the user but the right of the designer. In the same way, property of the output is the responsibility of the designer and the right of the user. So, to write an algorithm, specification is very important. So, the user has to give the correct input properties to the designer, then only the designer will think and create a relationship between the input and output. Otherwise, the user will not get the desired output. Our next topic is abstraction, and this is the second designing techniques which is used to build an algorithm. Let us see an example. To ride a bicycle, it is sufficient to understand the functioning of the pedal, handlebar, brakes and wheel. So, these are the main requirements, that is essential things to ride a bicycle. As a rider, we model a bicycle by these four features. A bicycle has a lot of more additional details which the rider can ignore. So, those details are irrelevant for the purpose of riding a bicycle. So, for riding a cycle, only four things are more important, that is the functionality of the pedal, handlebar, brakes and wheel. So, other than that, some additional features are also available in the bicycle. So, those details are irrelevant for the purpose of riding a bicycle. In case, if a rider wants to know or wants to understand the concept of bicycles, wants to know more about bicycle means he can use more details. In case, if a rider wants to just ride a bicycle means only these four details are enough, other than are irrelevant. Similarly, a problem can involve a lot of details. Several of these details are irrelevant for solving the problem. So, only a few details are essential. Already we told that abstraction is the process of ignoring or hiding irrelevant details and modeling a problem only by its essential features. So, only with the exact required inputs are enough to solve a problem. Other than that, the irrelevant details are ignored. So, this is the concept of abstraction. So, what is abstraction? Abstraction is the process of ignoring or hiding irrelevant details and modeling a problem only by its essential features. Now, let us see an example. A map is an abstraction of the things we find on the ground. We do not represent every details on the ground. The map maker, that is the map developer, pick out the details that the user need to know. Different maps are drawn for different purposes and so use different abstractions, that is they hide or represent different features. For example, we know about Google Map, right? Nowadays, we are using Google Map to reach the unknown places. So, the abstraction is involved in the map. For example, the car drivers are using Google Map to reach the particular places to pick up and drop. So, a road map is designed for drivers. They do not usually worry about hills, so most hills are ignored on a road map. Here, the unnecessary details like hills, mountains are ignored on a road map. Only the important things are denoted. This is called abstraction. Another type of map is workers map. A workers map is not interested in whether a road is a one-way street or two-way street. So such details are ignored here. So a map will show only the essential things. Unnecessary things are hide or ignored. So a map is a good example of abstraction. Abstraction is very important while constructing an algorithm. So, we use abstraction in a variety of ways while constructing an algorithm in the specification of problems, representing state by variables, and decomposing an algorithm to functions. Already, we have learnt about specification, right? What is specification? The specification of an algorithm consists of the name of the algorithm together with its inputs, the input property and the desired input-output relation. So, the specification abstracts a problem by the properties of the input and the desired input-output relation. So, the designer has to recognize the properties, essential properties for solving a problem and ignore the unnecessary details. And the next one is state. A computational process starts with initial state and ends with the final state. So, in between, the state may vary based on the changes of the properties of the input. So, in algorithms, the state of a computation is abstracted by a set of variables. So, as the values of variable changes, the state will also change. And the next one is decomposing an algorithm to functions. Decomposing is nothing but just dividing your algorithm into functions. So, when an algorithm is very complex, we can decompose it into functions and abstract each function by its specification. So, we have lot of things to construct an algorithm, but the designer will not use all those things to solve a problem. They will use only the necessary items to find a solution to the problem. An algorithm designer has to be trained to recognize which features are essential to solve the problem and which details are unnecessary. So, a good designer will analyze the problem and they have to decide what are the features to be used to solve a particular problem. If we include unnecessary details, it makes the problem and its solution overcomplicated. State. State is a basic and important abstraction. Computational process have state. A computational process starts with an initial state. All the variables will have a starting value before execution. So, that starting value is called as an initial state. Then, during the execution of the program, we will do some computation. That is, we will do some calculations. That time, the state may vary. The values of the variables will change and produce the result. So, that result is called as a final state here. So, a computational process starts with an initial state. As actions are performed, its state changes. So, while doing some execution, while doing some calculation, the values of the variables will change. Okay, then it ends with the final state. So what is state? In algorithm, the state of a computation is abstracted by a set of variables. Okay, the set of variables is called state. So state of a process is abstracted by a set of variables in the algorithm. The state at any point of execution is simply the values of the variables at that point. So this is all about state. Let us see an example. Chocolate bars. A rectangular chocolate bar is divided into squares by horizontal and vertical grooves. We wish to break the bar into individual squares. So, we have a chocolate bar. We are going to divide a chocolate bar into horizontal and vertical grooves. Then, we wish to break the bar into individual squares. At first, we have a single piece of chocolate bar. A cut is made by dividing a chocolate bar into two pieces. Again, we will make another cut. Likewise, several cuts has to be followed to make several pieces. So, while we are doing this, we will get individual squares. Here, the problem is a rectangular chocolate bar is divided into squares by horizontal and vertical grooves. Then we wish to break the bar into individual squares. We will find the solution to this problem in chapter 8. So, we will discuss the solution to this problem in chapter 8. In this example, we will abstract the essential variables of the problem. Now, we will discuss which is relevant and which is irrelevant to this problem. First, let us see essential variables. The number of pieces and the number of cuts are the essential variables of the problem. Initially, we have a single piece rectangular bar with no cut. When we made a first cut, a bar divides the piece into two pieces. So, we will represent them by two variables P and C respectively. So, P and C are essential variables here. P for number of pieces and C for number of cuts. The state of the process is abstracted by two variables P and C. Initially, the value of P is 1 and the value of C is 0. Before dividing a chocolate bar, it is a single piece with no cut. So, P is 1 and C as 0 here. So, 1 and 0 are initial state, and after cutting all the pieces into individual square, we will get the number of pieces and how many cuts we have used it. That is the final state here. Let us see the irrelevant details. The problem could be cutting a chocolate bar into individual pieces or cutting a sheet of postage stamps into individual stamps. It is irrelevant. Which is irrelevant? The problem is simply cutting a grid of squares into individual squares. The sequence of cuts that have been made and the shapes and size of the resulting pieces are irrelevant for us. Okay, so our essential thing is only the number of pieces and the number of cuts. So the sizes and shapes are irrelevant to this problem because we cannot reconstruct the sizes of the individual pieces, but that is irrelevant to solving the problem. Let us see another example: goat, grass and wolf problem. Already we have discussed this example, right? In this example, we will write a specification of the problem. The problem involves 4 individuals and each is at the one of the two sides of the river. Here, the 4 individuals are farmer, goat, grass and wolf. Initially, all the 4 are at the one side of the river and finally all the 4 must be in the other side of the river. Here, we have to represent the state by 4 variables and each one of them has one of the two values. Here, the 4 variables are farmer, goat, grass and wolf. The farmer must be in the boat when crossing the river and he has to take any one along with him. So, along with him, one object can move. So, always 2 values will change. Now, let us name the variables farmer, goat, grass and wolf and their possible values are L and R. So, in the initial state, all the 4 will be at the left hand side of the river, and finally all the 4 will be at the right hand side of the river. So, the values represented here is L for left and R for right. A value of L means at the left hand side and a value of R means at the right hand side. Since the boat is always with the former, it is important to not introduce a variable to represent its position. In this, we have ignored some of the details. For example, the boat. Even though the boat plays a role, but we doesn't allocate any separate variables for the boat. So, only the relevant details are required to solve the problem. Here, the irrelevant details are ignored or hidden. So, this is the concept of abstraction. In the initial state, all 4 variables, farmer, goat, grass and wolf have the value L because all 4 are in the left hand side. So, farmer, goat, grass, wolf is equal to L, 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 L. In the final state, all 4 variables should have the value R. So, farmer, goat, grass, wolf is equal to R, 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 R. Now we are going to write the specification of this problem. The specification of the problem is cross underscore river. This is the name of the algorithm. The name of the algorithm is cross underscore river. And the second step is we have to write the property of the inputs. So, double dash inputs colon farmer, goat, grass, wolf is equal to L, 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 L. This is the input property. The next step we have to write the output property. So, double dash outputs colon farmer, goat, grass, wolf is equal to R, 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 R. Now, we are going to write the condition. We have told that 2 conditions are there. One is the goat cannot be left alone with the grass. If it is left means the goat will eat the grass. And the condition is if goat is equal to grass, then farmer is equal to goat. Here, the goat and the grass should not be at the same side. So, either one of them should be carried with the farmer whenever he travels. That is the meaning. And the second condition is the goat cannot be left alone with the wolf. Here also, in case both are at the same side means the wolf will automatically eat the goat. And the condition is if goat is equal to wolf, then farmer is equal to goat. So, the goat should be carried with the farmer. In both the condition, the goat should be always carried with the farmer or it should be alone. Either the goat should be with the farmer or it should be alone. That is the meaning. So, these are the 2 constraints should be used in this algorithm. By repeating this process with the help of these 2 constraints, we can achieve all these 4 can be shifted from the left hand side of the river to the right. In this, we have ignored some of the details. For example, the boat. Even though the boat plays a role, but we doesn't allocate any separate variable for the boat. So, only the relevant details are required to solve a problem. Here, the irrelevant details are ignored or hidden. So, this is the concept of abstraction. The last topic which we are going to discuss in this chapter is an assignment statement. Variables are the named boxes to store values. So already we have learnt about variables, right? Variable is a storage location. So every program must need some inputs to process and produce the output. So data are stored in a set of variables. While processing, the values of the variables will changes. So when the values of the variables is changed, automatically the state also changed here. Here, the assignment statement is used to store a value in a variable. The syntax of assigning values to the variable is variable colon is equal to value. Here, the symbol colon is equal to is an assignment operator, and this assignment operator can also be read as becomes or is assigned. So, when this assignment is executed, the value on the right side is stored in the variable on the left side. Example, m colon is equal to 2. Here, colon is equal to is an assignment operator, and the another name of this operator is becomes or is assign. So, m becomes 2. Here, the values 2 is stored in the variable m. So, what is the value of m? The value of m is 2. Sometimes the right side of an assignment can be an expression. The syntax is variable colon is equal to expression. In this case, if the variable already has a value stored in it, assignment changes its value to the value on the right side. The old value of the variable is lost here. So, the example m colon is equal to m plus 3. Here, the expression is m plus 3. So, the expression is evaluated and the value of the expression is stored in the variable. In the first line, what is the value of m? The value of m is 2. Now, the expression is m plus 3. So, the m value is 2. So, 2 plus 3 is 5. Now, the value of m is changed as 2 to 5. So, the above statement evaluates the expression m plus 3 using the current value of m. So, m plus 3, that is 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Now, the value 5 is stored in the variable m. Now, let us see an example. What are the values of variables m and n after the assignments in line 1 and line 3? The first statement or the first line, m comma n colon is equal to 2 comma 5. Here we are using two variables and two values. The variables are m comma n and the values assigned to these variables are 2 comma 5. So the value of m is 2 and the value of n is 5. The second statement, double dash m comma n is equal to question mark question mark. So what is the value of mn? The value of m is 2 and the value of n is 5. Okay, now we are going to see the third line. M comma n colon is equal to m plus 3 comma n minus 1. This is an expression. In the first line, what is the value of m and n? The value of m is 2 and the value of n is 5. So, we have to substitute here. M plus 3. What is the value of m? 2. So, 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is 5, comma, n minus 1. The value of n is 5. So, 5 minus 1 is 4. Now, the value of m is 5 and the value of n is 4. So, the existing value is overwritten here. So, the value of m is 5 and the value of n is 4. In the fourth statement, double dash m comma n. What is the value of m and m is 5 and n is 4. So, the assignment statement changes the values of variables. Students, this lesson ends here. I hope you understood this lesson. Assignment of this lesson is, when do you say that a problem is algorithmic in nature? Second question, what is abstraction? And third one, how is state represented in algorithms? So, students, submit your assignments on time. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you in the next video class. Assalamu alaikum.